Hi there, welcome to episode 139 of the WaveBack Music Podcast. My name is Kris.
And I'm Matt.
And we're here to listen to the most spooky video game. I couldn't do it. We're here to listen to the most...
It's tough. It's tough.
How did Bela Lugosi do it? Anyway, following our annual Halloween tradition, Matt and I have once again gathered a selection of delightfully spooky music to get you into the witching spirit. Make your way to Halloween Town because the 7th annual Spooky Special starts now.
To answer your question, Bela Lugosi, all his acting was in his eyes.
Oh.
And
That's the
that
problem.
makes for a terrible... It's a podcast. Yeah, it makes for a terrible podcast, exactly.
Drat. Well, here we are. We are.
Yes, sir.
It's the day that this comes out will actually be Halloween, but for us, it is still a little more than a week away, and it's starting to get a little chilly outside. Finally,
Yep.
It was
Thankfully.
a little toasty out yesterday, but we haven't broken 80 degrees, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, I agree.
So our annual tradition continues, where we pick a bunch of spooky video game music. There was a couple that I picked that were just like, I was looking at my list earlier in the year, and I thought, how the heck have we not done these yet?
It's just as we know, as we progress, as we continue, we just know that there's tons and tons of great music and great games out there that like, and then of course they don't stop making them.
That's
so
true.
More good stuff comes out, and we're like, we got to do this, but this can't. Like we talk about our proverbial, it's on the list to play. Like that list gets longer and longer every minute. So
goodness gracious, does it ever? Well, we had most of this list is actually filled out by our listeners. We had a wonderful stack of selections from folks in the Discord chat. And a lot of the stuff I've never heard before, so it's going to be a lot of fun. They come highly recommended. Even one of them is a game I've never heard of before. Just total news to me. So, are you ready to get started? Because I sure am.
Hell yeah!
All right. Well, first up was a recommendation. It was actually a joking recommendation by Bedroth, and I said let's go with it because it's pretty cool. This is. As he said, Danny Elfman by way of Yoko Shimomura, we're going to listen to Halloween Town from Kingdom Hearts, which is basically the video game PlayStation 2 rendition of the This Is Halloween song from The Nightmare Before Christmas. So let's go ahead and give it a whirl. Here is This Is Halloween from Kingdom Hearts. Enjoy. Well, this sure is Halloween. That song put me right in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah. Look, I'm one of the people in this world that I think this movie's fine. I know most people in the world think this movie is like one of the best ever made. Oh my God, Nightmare Before Christmas is amazing! I like it. I just don't flip out over it. But this is it's a pretty memorable tune, and I like how they turned it into an instrumental for background music in the video game, because it still plays that memorable melody, except it changes it all into big thumping strings instead of people singing about it being Halloween Town. I liked it.
I don't like anything with fanatical fervor. I'm not designed that way.
But you like me.
Yeah. However, I really do enjoy The Nightmare Before Christmas. I've never played any of the Kingdom Hearts. It's just never really appealed to me. The kind of crossover of all those IPs coming together just kind of makes my head hurt. But I know there's a lot of people that are fanatical about that, and there are a lot of people that are fanatic about The Nightmare Before Christmas. I would like to go on the record as a hipster, as an old man, as Matt from the WaveBack, and say I'm probably one of the only few people in this world that has actually seen The Nightmare Before Christmas. When it came out in theaters, there I was, like 7th row with 2 of my friends eating Burger King, because we were just those guys. I was a huge fan. I still am a huge fan of stop motion animation. So much that goes into it. I'm so I have such reverence for the art form. But anyway,
before you move on, I think it's funny. I was also in the theater. I saw this in theater the weekend it came out, and I'm a huge fan of stop motion. And that was I really loved the movie the first time I saw it, because it's just such a gorgeous stop motion movie. Of
course,
like it's so amazing to look at.
I think that's what's flawless about the film, is that it just looks so gorgeous and everything looks so effortless. Like that's where I see, like I'm a production person. Like I love the behind the scenes stuff. Like I love a movie and I think it's fantastic, but I want to know what goes into some of this stuff. You think of Inception and the rotating hallway scene, 2001: Space Odyssey, the rotating space station where he's running, like all that stuff. I would love that stuff. That's the part where I get obsessive. I want to know everything. What'd you guys do to make that? This track is absolutely everything that its namesake is from that soundtrack. That's another thing too. I enjoy musicals. I'm not the hugest fan. What I like, I really love, and everything else is kind of the chaff. Nightmare Before Christmas is essentially a musical. I mean, it is. I don't know why I said essentially. And that soundtrack is fantastic. Some really great, memorable songs. This one, I think I had an obsession with for like a year or so, and I was like, man, when I start a band, we're gonna cover this. And then a bunch of years later, Marilyn Manson did it, and just anyway.
Manson covered this? I had no idea.
Yeah, they did.
That sounds horrible.
Give it a listen. You will not change your tune.
Then I will take your word for it.
Yeah, they did 2 records where they had bands come and redo some of the stuff, like Fall Out Boy. What's this? Rise Against did I forget what. So and then Manson did This Is Halloween and stuff. Obviously, like, oh, Marilyn Manson. All right, I'm getting on a soapbox. I'm sorry. Anyway, I have a lot of energy that is not necessarily good energy, so I'm going to do my best to sidestep it and just have fun for the Halloween episode. Love this song. I like you said, they made a great instrumental out of it. There's a part of me that wanted to hear the whole thing, but I know it's a video game and they have to loop it, so you catch the loop, but it works. It definitely just works. Like Danny Elfman is freaking Danny Elfman. You know what I mean? Like that guy's just as prolific as Hans Zimmer and John Williams and so on and so forth. I don't care. They all sit in the same pantheon for me. But great track, great pick, great way to start the show, great way to start the season.
Yeah, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to do this, because I agree with every point you made about there, including when you said, "Ooh, Marilyn Manson."
Yeah. Listen, I was a huge Marilyn Manson fan the first 2 maybe 3 records. After that, I started to grow up, and he didn't, and I was like, okay.
But yeah, this is an excellent way to kick things off because this is Halloween.
This is Halloween.
Okay, so next up, we're going to move on to my first pick of the evening, and I just couldn't believe we hadn't done this, and I guess the theory was that we had probably done the game itself relatively close to the Halloween special or whatever, but I just had to pick one of my favorite, like, genuinely spooky songs, Area 4 from Blaster Master. It was originally composed by Naoki Kodaka. This is the stage that has that creepy, like, frog monster groan in it. It's just a really, really good, eerie tune, and I love it because I love everything Blaster Master pretty much. So let's give it a listen. Here's Area 4 from Blaster Master. Enjoy. Area 4 from Blaster Master. I don't know what that creepy little noise is, but they used it so perfectly in this game. The little groan thing. It also happened whenever you got a game over. They play the game over music, and it would always end in that sound too. Man, I love Blaster Master.
Yeah, it's a fun oldie but goodie. The I dig this one because it's got your quintessential like spooky music, something you might hear in the Nightmare on Elm Street per se, or Friday the 13th. The quintessential horror stuff. Yeah. But then again, you play games where there's a haunted mansion or there's ghosts abound. You get that kind of tonal quality to it. But what I really appreciate is the way it descends. It slows down into that. It's really, really cool. You don't see a lot of that, I think early on.
No,
like when games just went straight forward.
Especially NES stuff. Changing tempo like that, just kind of slowing it down, and not even just. You'd get like joke every now and then something would change tempo for a while. This is just like to just add one specific effect where it just kind of drones out and then
just
kicks enough, then kicks right back in. It's such a cool effect. I just love it. Love it.
Fantastic.
Naoki Kodaka, master of the NES. Okay,
what
let's
did you
see.
say he was the Blaster Master
of the NES? Oh, there it is.
I'm sorry, everyone. I apologize in advance.
Got him. Nailed it.
I told you, I'm in a weird mood. Maybe it's the Halloween spirit. Maybe it's the fact that my mom came here and chewed my ear off for 30 minutes. I don't know.
Sounds delicious.
Either way, we're on a roll.
I'm hungry. Anyway.
Yeah, right?
Right.
It's lunchtime.
I could totally go for like a good sandwich. You said a roll, and I'm thinking... I made spaghetti sauce last week. Got plenty of meatballs upstairs. Make a nice big meatball sandwich for lunch. That would be delicious.
Look at you.
Anyway, next up, requested by Matt Flamger, a song called Indoctrination: The Tower from a game called Iconoclasts. I have heard of this game. I don't know anything at all about it.
Nope.
Cool. All right, so we're both going into this completely blind, right?
Yep.
All right.
That's my usual MO. you, and this might be new territory. So I don't know.
Well, let's give it a listen and see how Matt did. Other Matt, not you. You did great. You always do great.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
You're welcome. All right, here is Indoctrination, The Tower by Joachim Sandberg from Iconoclasts. Enjoy. Well, that was Indoctrination, The Tower from Iconoclasts by Joachim Sandberg, and I thought that was really freaking good.
I was, while we were listening to it, watching some kind of playthroughs and stuff. It's a gorgeous game. It's really colorful, really pretty. It looks like a lot of, what do you call it, like platforming, kind of puzzling. It looks a lot of fun. That was a really good track.
2D? What kind of game is it?
2D side-scrolling platformer. There's elements now. I'm just going on what I saw.
Uh-huh.
There looks like there's kind of elements of like the Lost Vikings, where you have a second player, or a second character that you swap off to, and they have certain abilities. That what's the word? Complement your abilities. So there looks to be like some areas where you're puzzling and you do one half of the puzzle and then you swap off, or they look like a boss fight, I think it was, and you swap off to the other character who then does the other half of the fighting, and so on and so forth, and you work together to complete tasks and stuff. But it looks a lot of fun. If the rest of the soundtrack is anything like that, I think it might be something we need to look into, just musically. Period. It looks like a fun game though. I think I was watching a review for the Switch, so it exists on the Switch and Steam definitely. But that was a really really good track. In my opinion, just my opinion, not necessarily as spooky as some other things we've played, but I think because of the instrumentation, the heavy reverb piano, and like the sparseness of its playing,
it's more eerie than spooky.
Yes, which I mean, give me eerie, give me spooky, give me ambient, give me scary. I don't care. It's October, baby.
Yeah, it definitely fits the theme that we're going for. Like, no question. But woo boy,
beautiful piece of music.
Yeah, really, really enjoyed that one. Definitely gonna have to look into. I've heard the name. I know I've heard the name, and I know I've probably at least seen it about in the world. I'm sure if I look it up, I'm gonna be like, oh, I've seen screenshots of this before, but just never really gotten around to playing it. But if this song is any indication of the rest of the soundtrack, then this might just be really well worth our time to investigate further.
Yes, sir. And I'm always looking for games for the Switch because I feel as though I don't give it enough love as my Xbox. So.
Well, there was new DLC for Horizon Chase Turbo, so.
I know, I saw, but I've got Dread right now, so.
Oh, true. Yay. We'll get to that later.
Yes, we will.
First up is a game that this was your first pick of the night, and this is one that I should absolutely play, and I have not gotten around to it yet. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the track we're about to hear?
So the track's called Death and I, and you can't get any more metal than that. I'm just kidding. You can't get any more Halloween than that. It comes from the game Hades, which was, for me, available free to play on Game Pass. And I loved the cover artwork. I loved the style of it. And then I had seen a couple screenshots and some other artwork from the game, and I thought, this is really great. So when it became available, I was like, I have to play this. And I think I played through it once, and I was like, it's okay. And then I played through it again, and I was like, oh, I see what's going on here. So if you're familiar with games like Dead Cells, you fight through the game, and when you die, you go all the way back to the beginning. You lose every power-up you had, but you get things to upgrade, and those stay permanent. So this game is a lot like that. It's a isometric, 3/4 perspective. You play the son of Hades, and you are attempting to fight your way out of Tartaros, or however you say it, the underworld. If you love Greek mythology, it's all in there. Achilles is there, or Hermes is there. The gods of Olympus give you power-ups. It's a freaking great game. There's like 6 different weapons you pick and choose from and upgrade. There's so many things to... And here's the best part. Every time you die and you go back, the story continues. It doesn't repeat itself. So every time you interact with someone, like, for example, let's say you play through it the first time, you talk to your father Hades, and he's like, well, why are you trying to escape? It's inevitable that you'll always end up here. And you're like, you'll see. So you come back, and he's like, oh, how's the escape going? And, it's a lot of that, and I think it's absolutely excellent. And so I think to get the full storyline, you have to really plunk in a lot of hours. And the only reason I stopped was because Dread came out, and I'm like aching to get back to it. Those of you who are playing on Switch or PC, you can actually port over your what do you call
your
it?
save data?
Yes, thank you. Your yes. There's a specific word I want to say, and I can't freaking think of it. But you can go back and forth. But those of us on PlayStation and Xbox can't do it. So I was really about to pick... They announced it, and I was about to pick it up on Switch. Like, great. I put in, 40 hours on it. I'm just going to move it over. Nope, sorry. Got to start from the beginning. So I was like, well, guess not. So let me stop gushing about this game. This track, it's short. It's very short, but I think it's gorgeous. Every piece of music in this game is gorgeous, and I might say that we have to do an episode down the line. I love a lot of this music, but this particular piece, you encounter Death, whose Greek name I'm absolutely drawing a blank on, but he's an ally, and the this little track plays, and I love it, and I hope you do too. And we're gonna give it a listen. It's called Death and I. Enjoy.
That was Death and I by Darren Korb from Hades. And, well, you're right. It was indeed short.
Thanatos. And actually, I think I misspoke. I believe this music actually plays when you do die. So there's a little death screen music there. And I'm going to tell you, every time I died, it is frustrating. Because, like, I think the level portions of the game are actually fairly straightforward and easy. What I like about it is you navigate them as you see fit. You go into a room, there's 2 ways to leave the room, but each room you go into next offers you either some kind of power-up from the gods, you might run into Chiron, who is a shopkeeper, or, ancillary characters like Sisyphus and stuff, and they offer you power-ups too, so you just keep progressing, but the bosses can be frustrating. But I think that's why I keep coming back, because I'm a determined little SOB when I play these games. So,
well, I got to tell you, it's everything I've seen or heard about this game has been like just left of center of the kind of stuff that I'm interested in. Like it's definitely got it's like got a lot of roguelike elements to it, and every time I read about it, it's like, I don't know, man. This doesn't seem like I'd really like it. But then everyone I talk to is like, no, you should try this. Just like Dead Cells, which I also bought but haven't tried yet because I'm a sucker.
I love Dead Cells, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna agree with everyone, and I'm gonna agree with you. I'm not a huge roguelite fan. There's elements that on paper I don't care for about this game, but it really all just comes together so well. And you want to talk about being a sucker? I'm a sucker for Greek mythology. I love it so much, and then the fact that this game is just like Greek mythology from start to finish is just fantastic. The voice acting I think is gorgeous. The game itself, I love the art direction. When you fight the Hydra monster, it's the Hydra monster, which I'm sure you've seen. It's the skeletal Hydra snake-ish monster. That's the thing that I was like, I need to play this game because I want to see this. I know it's art, I know it's a drawing, but I want to see how they put it out in the game, and not disappointed one bit. It's one of my favorite boss fights.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, it is on the list of things to do.
That ever-growing list of things to do.
Yes, indeed. I finished Dread, and now I'm working on finishing off Axiom Verge 2, which that's what I was in the middle of when Dread came out. And of course, like I mentioned, the DLC for Horizon Chase Turbo came out, so I wanted to spend a little bit of time with that. And well,
here we are. That's
neither here nor there. We're talking about Halloween stuff. So let's move on to our next track, which is this was a great one. This was also recommended by Bedroth. We were talking about Nightmare King from Hollow Knight to the Grim Troop by Christopher Larkin. I loved Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's a fantastic game. It's got fantastic music, and this was an excellent choice. So, in case you haven't heard it before, you're about to enjoy yourself some nice, good, spooky music. Here is Nightmare King from Hollow Knight, The Grim Troop. Enjoy.
So
yeah, go, yeah.
We'll just get this out of the way. That is an adequate track. No, it's a fantastic track.
It was
so
fine.
it was good, I guess. No, it's a fantastic track. We both, you and I both know that. The listeners know that.
Yeah.
Great. For me, the only thing I could think of, and I don't mean this to even be like a diss or anything. This is like Halloween via Trans-Siberian Orchestra. If there was like a Halloween version of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, whatever that is, this is the stuff they would make. And on like live, you would blow your head off. Like they would absolutely rock. Now I want to make this happen. Like I need a band that's like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, because people are obsessed with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I have an old neighbor who like she would go with her mom every year, right? And I'm not a Christmas person. Sorry to those of you who are. I'm not big on. I absolutely despise Christmas music, actually. But if someone put
You're really
together,
setting yourself up for our holiday special this year.
I know.
I'm gonna inundate you with 8-bit Christmas songs.
Oh, there's some charm to it, but like really like Christmas carols and things like that. Like, you know what it is? It's we'll talk about it then. Anyway, if there was a Trans-Siberian Orchestra that did Halloween music, or a Trans-Siberian Orchestra that was Halloween themed, like this is it. And I know that there's definitely metal bands out there that do this kind of epic, rock and epic kind of death metal stuff and too. So if anybody wants to shoot me a message on our WaveBack Discord channel, that'd be amazing. I read all the messages you tag me, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I will listen to things that you send me because I love listening to new stuff. That being said, Kris, take it away. What can I say that hasn't already been said?
Yeah, you're definitely right about the whole Trans-Siberian Orchestra thing, which is really cool. It never even occurred to me, but it's
and again, not in a negative way.
No, of course. It's very boss music. Trans-Siberian Orchestra cracked me up because I literally know no other music than that one Carol of the Bells version.
Yes, it's like their biggest. Yeah, it's the biggest piece. Yeah,
it's the only thing. I didn't even know they did other things, but I mean, I guess they must do. You don't assemble an orchestra for one song. So.
No, they do a full tour with like lighting and staging effects, and they make it snow. They play like small arenas. They're a big deal for a lot of people. I am not one of them. Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, no, this was I'm assuming this is boss music. I don't know if I got to this segment because this is listed as From Gods and Nightmares, which must have been some sort of expansion. I don't even know what flavor of Hollow Knight I truly played. It's just the one on Switch that's called Hollow Knight, because I know that they've over the years that this had been out before it came to Switch, they added lots of different DLC and stuff to it. So this song doesn't sound overly familiar to me, but it's ridiculously awesome. So I don't really know what else to say about it. I just loved every moment of it. It was super fun, super loud, super bossy,
super rockin'.
Yeah,
super dockin'.
Ooh,
anyway,
Wolverine's kid. Anyway, so let's keep this Halloween train moving. And move on to our next request, which comes by way of Duroc Pig over on Discord. This is from a game called Night in the Woods, which is also something I've heard of, but I know absolutely nothing about. And this specific version of the song is called Astral Coal Town Build-Up. It was composed by Alec Holoka. So apparently this specific version was requested because of the way, like, when I first looked up this game's soundtrack, I found the name of I found this song, and then I clicked on it, and then I said, well, this one doesn't say build up. Let me click on the version that he linked to in the Discord, and it did definitely have a very different, certainly it was a longer track and had a different feel. It's like, okay, this is actually a different animal, so we're going to go ahead and listen to that. Apparently, the build up is what really makes this piece. Like I said, I only listened to a couple of seconds just to make sure I had the right tracks, so I'm going into this mostly blind. And I'm kind of excited about it. So let's listen to Astral Coal Town. It's a little bit of a longer one, but I feel it'll be worth it. Enjoy. Well, that was some genuine Halloweeny music right there. That hit all the what's the flavor I'm thinking about? You know, it's got that, what's the word, baritone sax going on, like the really deep saxophone, the little kind of factory-ish things going on in the background. It's kind of just sound a little spooky, and
there's a lot of stuff in that track that has been used for other things. Like, one of the first things I think of is steampunk. Another thing I think of is like burlesque. I think of like klezmer music to some extent. Tiny elements of Zydeco. Like, there's a lot going on in that track. But holy crow! I think, like, I just made up a new animal, everyone. It's a cow, crap, raven. Yeah, emphasis on
between
crap.
a cow and a crow.
Cow and a crow. Holy crow. Anyway.
Yeah,
yes.
that was really great, and I agree
Yes.
with the whole build-up thing, how it just kept getting a little bit more manic as it went on, and it was, you know, it was very, it wasn't off-kilter, but it had that very loose, you know, just barely holding together feel to it, like very jug band kind of thing going on there. It's very,
Yeah.
I loved that one. That was awesome.
Oh my god, it's in my quirky sensibilities. Like, yeah, you know, I'll talk about like really loving industrial and heavy metal and things like that, but I also listen to hip hop and rap and, you know, singer-songwriters, folkies, blah blah blah. But I have this side of me that really enjoys this kind of left of center musicality, and like that exists in this song. And it instantaneously reminded me of this band that, like, no one's ever heard of, just because, and I'm not being a hipster now, no one's ever heard of them. And I don't know how the hell I stumbled upon them, but when I did, I tried to devour everything that they made, and it was only one record. And then I own the record, and I've forgotten about them. This song reignited me to look them up, and I found out that they put out another record. So now, as we're sitting here recording, I'm hunting this thing down. Now, I will buy this record. I'll pay $40 for a CD for it, because I love this band so much. The band is called Rattlin' Bone. Singular. Rattlin' Bone. Bone. The singer's Australian. The band is such an odd mix. If anybody wants to look them up after this, the song is called I'm Coming Home. No, excuse me, I'm Going Home. And that song is so much like this song that I'm like, I'm over the moon about it. I was looking at bits of the game while we were listening to this, and I know exactly what game this is. I've passed it up because I felt like maybe the art style is gorgeous. Like, it's very indie, children's book, you know, kind of cool. Like, if I had kids, I'd totally probably grab this and read it, because all the main characters are animals, like a fox and an owl and a cat and things like that. And it's done in a very cool style. I had no idea, like, this hidden gem was in this game, so now, of course, I'm going like, okay, well, gotta go play that. It's on Game Pass as we speak. Totally gonna check it out. So it looks like a very interesting game, and again, a 2D side-scrolling kind of thing. It looks like it's got a lot of character. There's no voice tracks, but there's dialogue bubbles. And what I was reading, because it was like a trailer for the game. What I was reading is it feels very very fun, humorous. There's a lot of humor to it, definitely. So
yeah, it does have a degree of fun soundiness to it. What's the I have a friend who's in a band that does not entirely dissimilar music, maybe not as spot on as what you were talking about, but it's they're called This Way to Egress, or This Way to the Egress. I don't remember, but they're a lot of fun. My friend plays tuba in the band, so
nice,
good times. But yeah, this was an excellent pick. Thank you very much, Duroc Pig. Okay, Mr. Matt, it's time for your next pick. Tell us about it.
I already forgot what it was.
It's a game about people that have really thick necks.
Sorry, I had to double check. I appreciate you highlighting that for me. All right. So, you know, for years I've always thought about this game franchise, because it is a franchise. I have always loved the music, and I thought one of the best parts about this franchise is the music. But a lot of the music can be ambient, and I felt like maybe that's not the best idea for an episode. But the Halloween episode came along, and I was like, this is a perfect track for this. The franchise is Gears of War. And nothing, I think, in modern gaming has ever grabbed me as hard as Gears of War did the entire universe. Like, it's to the point where I was reading the supplementary books that were in between the video games, like devouring them. I love this universe so much. Everything, everybody's so cool. They're just these big beefy people, and they're in these big beefy armored, and the gun's got a chainsaw on it. Like, come on. Yeah, man. So this track is called Entering the Tombs from Gears of War 1. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not 100% positive where it exists in the game. My guess is it might be the very, very beginning when Marcus Phoenix, the main character, or the main character for the first 3 games, is released from prison because the locusts are like invading and have torn through the place, and he kind of got forgotten, and he manages to escape. Enter the Tombs, Gears of War. So it's another short one, but I think it's effective enough. So enjoy.
Well, that was dour.
I mean, it sets the tone for the game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, but
no, of course not.
That certainly was not designed to elicit smiles.
If you're me, it might. But I'm also a little weird. One of the things I will say about that track, because I recognize, like, it's not necessarily music, but it's also not necessarily ambient, is that it's this weird cross between music and ambience. Mm-hmm. But it's, to me personally, it's something I think someone would find and put on a soundtrack for a haunted house. So, like, as you're walking through a haunted house, you get the cheap jump scares. You would hear that, and there's someone going, "Yeah, it's Gears of War." So,
and that's when you jump out at them.
Right, exactly. Oh, you got it! And you're like, ah! Yeah. But that's just the weird fantasy I build in my head. So that being said, it was a good opportunity to kind of slip one in there from the Gears of War universe. But I also thought, like, this is a good, throw it to the haunted houses. Because, I mean, like, everybody has different ideas of what's scary. Scary to some, it's not scary to others. And I feel like the Halloween season is very multifaceted.
For sure. You got everything from Doom to the Monster Mash, and they're all Halloween, but they're all so different from each other.
I love that juxtaposition too. By the way, now I kind of want to hear a Doom version of the Monster Mash and then the Monster Mash version of the Doom theme
to the Monster Mash.
I mean, we can make that happen.
I'm sure there's a mod out there for that.
If someone's very intrepid, one of our intrepid listeners, please link us. But the Halloween season is it's multifaceted. There's a lot of levels to it. There's some people who appreciate just kind of a Disney level of Halloween, the fun, and then there's some people who want nothing but buckets of blood and gore. So I felt there's a place for this.
Most certainly, and it was very well done. It was I could see myself playing this game and remembering this more than other ambient bits, because I did play a little bit of Gears of War. The only reason I stopped was because I was absolutely terrible at it. And I'm sure if I tried again now, I still have it. I actually have the first 3 games. I continued to buy them because I was like, I'm gonna do this, because I was so impressed with the visuals of this game. And just like you, the chainsaw gun. I remember playing it and using that like for the first time, just like kind of sawing at somebody. Like, okay, this is fantastic.
It is exactly what I need.
I am into this. I was always put off by just how thick dude's neck was. Like, Marcus Phoenix was just like, I mean, what does he look like underneath that armor? Like, because
if you got far enough into the game, you actually, if in episode 3, you see him without his armor.
I'm imagining like this head and this neck, and then like skinny Steve Rogers from Captain America.
No. He is Dave Bautista, like Brock Lesnar, you know.
Is a giant walking slab of beef. And then like I remember there was like a woman who walked out of a helicopter that was like normal human proportions, and I was like, oh my god. This
Yeah.
There's something wrong here. There's nothing. There is a real disconnect between point A and point B. These are not the same species, but you know, it's fine. Everything's fine. I'll just give me my chainsaw gun and let me get back to business.
Yeah, it's so true.
But no, this is a cool piece. Thanks for bringing it to my attention.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is a yet another request from Bedroth. You did good work for us, Bedroth. You haven't led us astray so far. So this one here is from this is from a game called Rusty. I've never heard of this before. Absolutely no clue what this is. It's for the PC, not PC 88, PC 99, PC 89. Well, let me go back to the chat. I forgot to actually write that down. Let's see. WaveBack.
PC 98.
PC 98. Completely unfamiliar with this. No clue. The track is called Silent Cemetery / Hidden Crypt from a game called Rusty. It was composed by Masahiro Kajihara, Kenichi Arakawa, and Ryu Takami. Yeah, I got nothing. Let's give it a whirl, huh? Here's Silent Cemetery. Enjoy. That song was awesome.
Absolutely.
That was so cool. I watched a little gameplay video.
Same.
So this game seems to be what if Castlevania starred a scantily clad anime babe
With green hair.
with green hair. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about this game, but I certainly think this music sounds amazing.
I like a lot of the in-between stuff, like the intro for the game. The artwork is anime inspired, if not anime entirely. That's great. The game itself, I mean, it's very indicative of its time.
Yeah,
but
certainly
even
looks
still
neat.
looks good.
Yeah, it's got that very like PC from this era choppiness to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
like the character's very stiff.
It doesn't animate very smoothly. The screen doesn't scroll very smoothly, which was,
No.
I believe, an issue with a lot of PCs at this time, which is one of the things that consoles did better than PCs, I think, at the time, was scrolling, was one of the things that a lot of consoles had been designed for. But either way, the game certainly looks interesting, and it's got... The stages seem like they get a lot more open than they do in like a traditional Castlevania. Like it starts off very side-scrolly Castlevania, and then it seems to open up a lot. It's a really interesting looking game. But regardless of the interesting looking game, the music was freaking cool, man.
Oh, absolutely! That was a great song.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I liked all the weird little sound effects they threw in there. I love this very PC music from this era. Like the instrument choices are so very much this time, you know what I mean? Because this was released in 1993. It was just real quick, Gears of War, composed by Kevin Riepel.
Yes,
Or, how to say? I don't remember if we actually said that, but regardless,
we didn't. But yeah,
back to this one. Yeah, cool pick, Bedroth.
appreciate that.
Never would have even never heard of this in my life.
I was never a PC guy, and I still kind of am not. Like, I'm a console person. I think I'll always will be. But there was a lot of great stuff that got released on the PC, and because of that, I missed out on it. I'm curious about the rest of the soundtrack, honestly.
Me too. I definitely want to look into this a little bit. It's I don't know. It's very interesting. I know there is a bottomless well of PC software out there that I've never touched.
Yeah.
Because I've also always been more of a console guy. I have played my share of PC games, but
Sure.
Doom, Monkey Island, etc. But most of the time, I'd prefer to be on consoles. But this is a fascinating one, and I love that. I just love that this was brought to my attention. Way to go.
100% agree.
Okay, next up comes my second pick, and that is going to be from Donkey Kong Country Returns. Fear Factory Returns. I actually had thought to just do I put in my notes, like, we never did Fear Factory in a Halloween special. I mean, it's got fear right in the title, for crying out loud.
It writes itself.
How do we not do that? And then I thought, you know what we definitely haven't done? We've listened to Donkey Kong Country. We haven't listened to Donkey Kong Country Returns, which most of the soundtrack in Donkey Kong Country Returns is remakes of the original game's soundtrack, done by Kenji Yamamoto. So this rendition of Fear Factory was so good. Donkey Kong Country Returns was so good. And well, I'm just excited to listen to it. This again, sorry, it wasn't just Kenji Yamamoto. This also Masaru Tajima and Minako Hamano were also credited on this. The original Fear Factory was, I can't remember if this was yes, the original Fear Factory was in fact David Wise. So slipping David Wise into any special I can. So here comes Fear Factory Returns from Donkey Kong Country Returns. Enjoy. Yeah, I love that song. I love that song. I love that rendition of it. I love all the changes that they made to it. I love hearing David Wise by way of Kenji Yamamoto is so freaking cool. Because, like, you know, this is the guy who's been doing Metroid music for such a long time. So when you have Retro Studios doing a take on Donkey Kong Country, it just, man, this game was so much fun. I really wish they would port this to some sort of modern console so I don't have to play it with motion controls. But this game's whole soundtrack, these wonderful renditions of that amazing Donkey Kong Country music, and this one just such atmosphere. It's such a great tune.
I'm not too familiar with the original, so this is kind of like a brand new listen for me. I thought it was a gorgeous piece of music, just from start to finish, very well put together, compositions on point, instrumentation's fantastic. I mean,
you're not really familiar with the Fear Factory stage from Donkey Kong Country?
I don't remember it.
Huh. Okay.
Look, the truth of the matter is I have such a terrible memory. And I'm not even talking like video games and music. I mean, like, just in life. I couldn't tell you what I had for dinner last night. And that's an absolute truth. Like, if I think about it,
I made a calzone.
That's much better than what I had. I had a sandwich, like a little, I had a poor man's Italian combo. But anyway, I digress. You see what I'm saying? Like, it took me so long to put that together. And the sandwich took long, too. But anyway, just because I'm inept. Regardless, I can't conjure. I feel like it's somewhere in the recesses of my brain, the original, and I feel like I have a vision in my head of what that stage was. But I'm not 100% sure, and without looking into it, and that'll just take all day. So, anyway, I digress. Beautiful, beautiful piece of music. I will say, however, the fact that it's called Fear Factory consistently makes me think of the band Fear Factory, which is absolutely nothing like this. It's blistering double bass, some of the fastest guitars I've ever heard, and very Terminator 2 inspired thematics to their records. So, that being said, another great piece of music.
Yeah, I was the original version of Fear Factory was one of my favorite songs in the original Donkey Kong Country, just because I remember seeing the original VHS tape that showed off Donkey Kong Country, and like they showed a bit of the factory stage, and I saw the burning oil drums from the original Donkey Kong, and just this really awesome, spooky digital music coming out of Donkey Kong Country seemed like it was such a weird fit, but it worked so well. And I remember getting to that level in the actual game when I got it, and you just pause it and listen to the music, and just thinking this tune was so cool. So when they did Donkey Kong Country Returns and all the music was remakes of the Super NES music, I was really excited to get to this one, but also kind of nervous that they'd kind of screw it up, and they absolutely didn't. Just knocked out of the park. Love this one.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about it.
Okay, we got two left. Next up is our final listener request. This comes to us by way of Chronodin. This is Golbez Clad in the Dark from Final Fantasy IV by Nobuo Uematsu. And this is, I've never really gotten into Final Fantasy IV. It's one of my friend's favorite Final Fantasy games, and for some reason I've just never been able, this would never clicked with me. Love 6, but 4 just completely missed the mark for me. I should really go back and try it again one of these days. Add it to that pile we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do know the game supposedly has some great music, so are you familiar with this one?
No, there's just way too many Final Fantasies. I think the last of the Super NES, Nintendo console Final Fantasy I played was 3, and that was one of the big ones. 4, no. 6, no.
4 was 2.
Right. Oh, Final Fantasy 2? No,
yeah, this was the first Super Nintendo Final Fantasy. This was the one in America that we got as 2. Was actually 4 in Japan. So our Final Fantasy 3 was actually Final Fantasy 6.
So you can't see it right now, but my eyes have crossed. Because I cannot follow that.
So Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy.
Yep.
Then Final Fantasy 2 happened, which was going to be released on NES, but never came out on NES, but it was released in Japan. Final Fantasy III also came out on Famicom in Japan, never made it to the United States. Final Fantasy IV was the first 16-bit one, and they're like, all right, let's port it let's get this one out in America. And they're like, yeah, but we skipped 2 and 3, so heck with it. Let's call it Final Fantasy II. That's not going to confuse anybody, right? Because it just means you went right from 1 to 2. Okay,
Little
fine.
did they know.
Little did they know. And then they did the same thing on Super NES. Like, well, what about Final Fantasy V? Nah. Final Fantasy VI? Yeah, sure, bring that one over. But let's call it 3 so people don't get confused. And then Final Fantasy VII happened. They're like, screw it, it's Final Fantasy VII. We'll fix it in post.
There's nothing more cringy than someone saying we'll fix it in post, just as a production guy. But I appreciate the humor. Okay, sure. I got nothing. Let's just play the track.
All right, here is Golbez Clad in the Dark from Final Fantasy IV/2. Enjoy. Yeah, that was spooky. That fits the bill.
It ticks all those horror tropes, you know, the harpsichord, the stabs,
the big pipe organ, you know.
Yeah. Pipe organ, not a harpsichord. Maybe it's a cross between. I don't know. Anyway, it's gorgeous music. I mean, Final Fantasy's never been one to shy away from really good music. Whatever installation it is. Great instrumentation, top-notch orchestration. Gorgeous.
Can't say I have a whole lot to say about it. It was short tracks, only a minute long, but it definitely instills that sense of dread.
Oh-ish, something's about to happen.
And speaking of dread, this was Matt's other pick. And I really was super happy that he picked it, because I thought to myself, yeah, I should pick something from Metroid Dread, and I really want to pick the one that the track that you went with, the Emmy Room. Mm-hmm. But then I listened to it, I was like, I mean, it's only scary if you've played the game, because when you listen to it on its own, it's not that scary. But then you selected it, I was like, all right, we're doing it.
So
twist my arm.
Yeah, right. Don't threaten me with a good time. So basically, what you said is essentially what I thought. Like, it's been a long time since I played a game where I actually feel a genuine sense of dread and urgency. And like, I had to kind of take a step back and laugh that the game is called Metroid Dread, and I was like, Metroid Dread, like, all right, sure, it's just a moniker, whatever. Nah, I fought like 2 or 3 of these Emmys, EMMI, and I was like, nope, no. Every time I go into a new area and I hear, and what I had originally chosen was the first piece of music we're going to hear. Kris has, taken it a step further, and he's indulged everyone, if you haven't played it, and you players will know, all 3 pieces of music, all 3 phases of the Emmy. So I wanted to go with the first piece you're going to hear, and that's because, to me, right now, as a gamer, I haven't finished Dread. I got to the final boss. I died once, and I was like, okay, got it. I know where he is. No big deal. Let me go back and get all the fuel tanks and energies and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So, this piece of music, though, as I was traversing the game, every time I heard it, after, like, the second Emmy fight, I was like, nope, nope. I can't do it. And I would literally run. I would run like a child who would run past a hallway that was dark or the basement door was open and they'd run by it because they were afraid of what isn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would bolt through these portions of the game, and I would stop and think about it. I'm like, dude, you're like a 41-year-old gamer. Is this really doing that to you? And then I was like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's awesome. And it has to do in part with the music. So
yeah,
that is absolutely why I chose. It's like, if I'm guaranteeing you, when we play this, I'm gonna sit here and for a nanosecond, I'm gonna get a pang of like staring at my computer screen, which has no Metroid Dread on it. I will go
Yeah, I would kind of similarly. All three of these pieces instilled a real sense of fear in me, which is why I really I wanted to pick all three of them, because the first one is like, so you know what an Emmy room is because they have different doors. So every time I'd get to one after, like probably around the second one, every time I'd get to one after that, I'd stop in front of the door and be like,
here we go.
Okay,
yep.
I'm ready.
Yep.
And then I'd go in there and be like, all right, where is it? Where is it? You look at that map in the corner and be like, all right, where is the thing? And then, But then there's the whole, okay, it hears me. Now I've got to hide, right? That's that's where the second thing is. First, I was similar to you. I'd be like, I just got to get through this as quick as I can. I just got to get to the other side, whatever happens. But then there's the second part where it hears you and you're like, okay, I got to run. I got to run. I got to move. I got to get away from it. I got to find somewhere where I can turn invisible and it won't see me. And hopefully I have enough, energy to hold out being invisible long enough for it to walk past me and not hear me again. So that was the second set of being terrified. But then there's the, oh crap, it's chasing me. So and that's just like, no. These things are terrifying. They're so well done. The way they animate, they're all creepy and stuff. But they're all, oh my God.
Their animations, the way they turn on a dime and fold over themselves and they crawl, and hearkening back to Gears of War very quickly. I think it's in like part 2 or Judgment. Damien Baird, they have these like creepy crawly monsters, and you kill them, and there's like a voice of dialogue, and someone's like, "Oh, I'll never get used to those." And Damien Baird goes, "It's the scuttling. You never get used to the scuttling." And like that's why I think people get freaked out when like roaches crawl near them and all kinds of insects, because they just are so unnatural, and their legs are bent the way like an insect. It's just so well done that I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it going, no, I don't even want to talk about it.
All right, so here is what I just called Emmy Terror, because it's just the three of them put together. This is by Kenji Yamamoto, Soshi Abe, and Sayako Doi, the three names credited to this game's soundtrack. And it's a killer. It's a little long, but, enjoy. Oh. Happy Halloween. Here you go. So of course I had to add the game over music at the end, because if you've played this game and if you're anything like me, you died a lot.
Have I ever?
I've never died this much in a Metroid game. I don't even think I died this many times in the original NES game.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of deaths, and it was so many were from these Emmy rooms. The Emmy rooms and the bosses.
Yeah.
I died a lot on that last boss that you're fighting. Died many times, but now I can beat him like without breaking a sweat, like, because I learned the pattern from doing it over and over again. I cannot wait to replay this game, because that was just such a fun part of it. It's the kind of thing that I would think would just get incredibly frustrating. And sometimes when I play games like even something like Cuphead, it does get very frustrating. For some reason in this game, it was so much fun being like, all right, let's try again. All right, I get it. I see what you're trying to do. Let's figure out how to get around that one. It just, so much, such good game design here.
Yeah.
It's just a masterpiece. But these Emmy rooms, man, there is so many times where that last song that it's seen you and it's coming after you, and you're like, oh no. I just
there's that final one that Adam tells you, it could see through walls, and I was like, oh, come on. Like, I said it out loud. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. What next? They can phase through walls? What comes after that? I'm an Emmy and I don't even know, like, there's such, like I said, the name Dread is such a perfect moniker now that I get it. Even if it wasn't intended, like, it should be.
It definitely was.
Okay, good, because someone, a good friend of mine, I was playing something else with, and we were chatting multiplayer, and told him about it, and he said, someone said that Metroid Dread is very akin to Resident Evil Nemesis. And I said, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Because the Nemesis just appears out of nowhere, and you're like, no, gotta go, no, gotta get out of here. Very Jeff Goldblum-y.
Must go faster. Must go faster.
Yeah. Must go. Everything about that, every aspect of that in this game is perfect.
Yeah, it's pitch perfect, and I love Metroid in general. This game was everything I could have hoped it would be. I'm just beyond thrilled with it, top to bottom. I can't wait to see what they do with it next, because I believe the game was a pretty decent success for them. So
I can't imagine it wasn't. I mean, and I was having another conversation with a different friend, and first of all, he told me he's never played a Metroid, to which I was like, how are you friends? Get out. Then I said, this Dread is very much back to the old 2D side-scrolling Metroidvanias. It's the freaking namesake. I said, it's fantastic. And that is not to say anything disparaging about Prime, because I loved Prime 2. They were two slightly different beasts in the way you played them, but they played the same way. It was a three-dimensional Metroidvania.
It's like the difference between 2D Mario and 3D Mario. They're both Mario games,
right,
but they're kind of intrinsically different.
Correct. So there's a part of me that would love another Prime, like if they did two separate storylines, perhaps.
Well, you're
like
gonna get one.
What?
You didn't know that?
No, I don't. Listen, I can't follow these things because A, I just don't have the time, and B, like, if I found out there was a Prime game, I would now incessantly, okay, when's it coming out? I need it, like, where is it? Let's go. Like, it's only been a day. Like, come on, hurry up. Let's go. Put it in my console. Let's go.
I'm so happy to be the one to break this to you. And I'm so happy you're finding out about it now. It was announced years ago. Metroid Prime 4 was announced years ago. It was like one of the earliest games actually announced for the Switch.
Okay.
But Nintendo wasn't happy with the way the game was coming out. So they put out a video and they're like, look, Prime 4 is happening. But the studio we were working with, we weren't happy with the way it was going. We have another studio that we did like what they approached us with, so we are restarting development from scratch with them.
I can respect that.
Oh, I can absolutely the fact that they just came out and said that, like, we're starting over. The studio is Retro Studios, huzzah, and they just started from scratch. That was years ago. When they announced Metroid Dread at E3, they were like, Okay, so Prime 4 is going great, but we don't have anything to show. However, check this out.
Yeah, by the way. And see, I'm very good with that. However, if I had known Prime... I feel like I knew Prime 4 was happening, and I made myself forget, because, you see, all these years have passed, and I'd be like, where's Prime 4? I want Prime 4. Yeah, Dread's amazing. It's the greatest game ever made right now, but where's Prime 4? You know what I mean? Like, I hate doing that to myself. I know, you don't get to be 41 years old and not know how you operate. So, yeah. But that's great. That's fantastic news. And now I will not think of anything other than where's Prime 4. So thanks, Chris. I appreciate you.
No problem. You finish up Dread, and now you can obsess over the next Metroid game.
I'm already obsessed. I'm sitting here thinking about it now. Like, okay, what's it going to be like? Where does it pick up? Is it?
Right? That's such a huge question. Like, is it still going to follow like exactly in the timeline as Prime 1, 2, and 3? Is it still going to be a first-person thing, or is it going to go something more akin to like the camera angle in Other M? Like, where do they go with the Prime series? I'm
Other M.
So curious. Fascinating.
A very quick side note at the risk of making this episode any longer, but as a filmmaker, as a self-proclaimed filmmaker, I would love nothing more than to be able to take the Metroid series and put it on like the big screen or even the television screen. But every time I play one, I'm just like, oh, this is, I don't know, would I even be happy with it? Sorry, that's just how my brain works. So anyway, yes.
All right, Metroid, that's it.
Yes.
We did it.
We did do it.
We did Halloween.
We did the thing.
Hooray. The thing has been done. It was a little bit of a beefy episode, but you know what?
It's okay.
It's okay. It's Halloween. And who doesn't like a good stack of spooky music?
Have some beef for Halloween. Like, we do this for you.
We do the beef for you.
I agree.
So let's see. What is next? I actually forgot to look ahead.
I have no clue.
What do we have scheduled next here?
Sometimes I don't even remember I'm on this show.
I know we definitely have more. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Okay. We were still for the rest of the year. We had planned out for anniversary stuff. We have 3 more anniversary themed episodes to go.
Right.
And the next one, which will be our first episode in November, is a celebration of the 20th anniversary of Halo.
Ooh.
I don't have very much experience with Halo. I've been meaning to, but I will say that the music of Halo has always impressed me.
Yes.
The little bits that I've heard, stuff in trailers and whatnot, are very exciting to me. So I'm really looking forward to this one, because while I have an Xbox One now, I have definitely put some consideration into tracking down. Like the Master Chief Collection is on my Christmas list, basically. That is a thing that's on my Christmas list. I would like to try it. I tried playing it on the original Xbox, and it didn't click with me. But I've gotten a lot better at first-person shooters on console since I did that, because I was never good at first-person shooters before, but now I've played through Doom, and I feel like I have a little bit more under my belt to be able to do that. So
yeah,
I would like to try. I'd like to give it a try. So 20th anniversary of Halo should be fun.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be dare I say, epic one.
Oh, that was Gears of War though.
It was.
It's going to be very Bungie. That doesn't work at all. Anyway, join us next time as we listen to the music of Halo for its celebrate its 20th anniversary. We here at the WaveBack podcast are incredibly grateful to everyone who listens, and we love communicating with you when we can. We have a couple of ways you can do that. There's the Geekade Discord channel, in which we have a WaveBack chat where we frequently discuss all manner of stuff relating to video game music or Indiana Jones movies, whatever. Was that in that chat? No, we were talking Parks and Rec in the WaveBack chat. Whatever.
There's a lot. There's a lot for everyone in the Discord channel. You got a bone to pick with something, do it, and we'll talk about it, man.
Dive in.
Any one of us.
We also have a WaveBack forum page on Facebook, which you can find by searching WaveBack on Facebook. Of course, you can still send us a message at I can talk. You can still send us an email at mail@geekade.com. And while you're at it, check out all our other social media channels, which you should totally follow, like, and subscribe to if you haven't already. And be sure to check out all the other great content we have on our site over at geekade.com. I don't really have anything special to promote this week. Do you, Matt?
No, sir.
Yeah, it's just been busy. It's that time of year. I will get back to the overplays. I promise. It's just got to find the time. Okay, we are going to leave you tonight with a rousing rendition of the Ghostbusters theme. from Ghostbusters 2 for NES. It's extraordinarily short. It's not even the whole song, but I like it, and I thought that would be a really good way of relieving the tension that's probably still sitting in everyone's heads from listening to 6 minutes of Emmy robot music. So
sorry,
there you go.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Enjoy it. Thanks everyone for listening. Have a happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time.